A lot of men are coming to the realization and the acceptance of how hard life is for a man. And life is hard for everyone. Life is hard for women. Life is becoming increasingly hard for children with social media, all these different things, all these different distractions. But for men, it's a little bit different because the burden of performance is truly on us. If we don't figure it out for our families, if we don't hold it down, everything crumbles. And to be quite frank, I don't understand how people are allocating their time in such a poor manner because there's so much work to do. You really can't take your foot off the gas because you got to account for inflation. You got to account for poor health if something were to happen. If you got to use some money to cover a medical bill. If you're a man who has four people you look after, let's say you got two kids, a girl, and maybe she has a kid, or you got three kids and a wife, something like that, and you're the one who financially takes care of everything, how can you actually be sure you're ahead enough? You know, like the amount that you have to have and the amount of mental strength and perseverance and clarity and dedication you have to have in order to ensure peace of mind. It's a lot. And I think that as men look at life and they realize the burden of performance that they have, it should bring some peace to you because you really don't have a choice. In a way, it forces you to submit. It forces you to submit to discipline. And this is only if you accept it, right? Of course, you cannot accept the burden of performance and let everything crash and burn around you. But if you truly want to make sure everybody's okay, you got so much work to do. And if you really take a second to stare at all that work and the mountain you got to climb and the cushion that you have to build, it can become overwhelming. So that's why I try to live by certain philosophies that make it simple for me. I try not to stress out about how much money I'm making because at the end of the day, the goal is to continue to make more, to never stop. And the mindset is that you never have enough. And back in the day, I used to look at people and I used to look at like really successful people and wonder, like, why do they keep going so hard? And I don't mean hard as far as sacrificing family and stuff like that or sacrificing time with your kids. I just mean, why do they keep at it? Why do they keep playing the game, the money game and the success game? Why do they keep stacking? And that's because they have that understanding. They know that no matter what, the point of the game is to keep playing. It's funny because no matter how much money you have, well, for the most part, right? If you got 100 million, you're probably fine. But even if you have $100,000 in the bank and then you lose your job, 6 months to a year from now, that $100,000 is gone. So, what if you get into an accident where you can't work anymore? Like, do you have passive income? Do you have everything in place to where everybody would still be taken care of? Are you at the point where you wouldn't even have to adjust your lifestyle if something like that happened? And that's most people. Most people wouldn't be able to sustain that. 99% of people, if they went through something where they had to stop working, that would be it for them and their family. They'd have to go on welfare. They'd have to go live with other family members and stuff like that. So even success is not really what you think. Even though you're successful, you're not ahead enough. You're never gonna get there. So the point is to have a certain mindset to where you can submit to the journey ahead. Just accept the fact that you want to pick something that you don't hate doing. You want to find some routines and some daily habits that you kind of enjoy, and you want to do those things. You want to do them in a stress-free, relaxed state as much as possible because you're in it for the long haul. The mindset is not to stop working at 45 or stop working at 55 and then sit at home and watch sports all day. That's not the right mindset. Not anymore. I think there used to be a time where you could probably do that. But even then, if you're really thinking about a provider mindset, a provider is never going to stop because he knows that all it takes is cancer to hit somebody and everything's gone and now you're back to work. So why not keep doing it while you're young? What if you stop working at 50 and then your wife at 57 gets diagnosed with something and then all your money's gone? All you had to do was keep working through 57 and you would have been in a lot better position. So it's just something to accept. Men are really struggling. And I think the answer to it is picking a certain mindset, picking a certain philosophy, and sticking to that. When you fight things and you resist things, you end up making the fight a lot harder. Sometimes it's better to go with the current. So what life is telling us as young men, it's telling us that there's no such thing as retirement. It's telling us that you need some passive income. It's telling us that since you're never going to retire, even if you don't like your 9 to 5, you should try to find some sort of 5 to 9 in order to have something that gives you some joy. Because to be honest, I haven't made a dollar from this yet, but every time I complete a video and I upload it, it makes me feel good that I'm trying to take a step towards something better. It makes me feel good that 5 years from now, I might be able to get $1,000 a month from this. If I make $5,000 or $10,000 5 years from now, it'll be nice to be able to see that this little hobby that I have, because I like doing it anyway. I enjoy doing this, and I think that everybody should have a good little 5 to 9 after their 9 to 5 and try to make something happen with that. And I put on my calendar, I have these goals, and I try to make my goals as far out as possible because I believe in delayed gratification. I believe in not trying to rush things, and I believe in, taking my time but being persistent, picking a certain game plan and sticking to it long term and allowing it to fail really slowly. And when things fail, you do have to listen, but a lot of times we might look at failure in the beginning and really it wasn't failure. So the slower you accept failure, the better chance you give it to show if it was actually failure, I guess, if that makes sense. So I picked 2029 as the year I'll stop making videos if this never gives me a return on my investment. And that's 5 years from now. So a lot of people, they would make a channel and they would hope that they would get monetized within a year or two. But I don't like the aggressive approach. It's more calming for me to just be able to upload these, take my time, and then, when I'm 35, 36, 37, look up and see what happened. And maybe 5 years from now, it'll be way farther than I expected, but maybe 5 years from now, it won't. And I'll be able to say, I gave it 5 full years. It failed slowly, and I paid my dues, and I'm okay with that. I'll be able to give my son this channel. When I say give him the channel, I mean show him these videos, and within 5 years, I would have covered pretty much everything that got me where I'm at and everything that kind of contributes to my mindset. I would have given him all the stories, the life lessons, pretty much the things he's going to hear as he's growing. He's 9 now. He's going to be able to listen to them again through this format. So it's going to be like hearing it twice. And a lot of times it takes us hearing things 2, 3, 4, 5 times for it to really stick. So that's where the value in this comes, because honestly, when you have a son, and I know a lot of you do, and you start to look at the world, it's terrifying. It's like, man, you got so much work to do, bro. Like, and you have so much opportunity in front of you. To get back on topic, men are struggling, and I think it's because we are not picking a position, we're not picking a side, we're not picking a lifestyle, we're not picking a 5 to 9 that gives us a little bit of energy. We kind of are undecided. Anytime you're undecided, you're a drifter. You just kind of float around. It's funny because I told my girlfriend that before I filed for divorce from my ex-wife, I was a floater. And then I ran into this book called Outwitting the Devil, and it explains exactly what I was. It doesn't explain it as a floater, it explains it as a drifter. So before I filed for divorce, I just let life kind of do what it wanted with me. And an interesting thing happened, because after I filed for divorce, I decided to be super intentional about all the important things in my life. So I became intentional about dating, intentional about the gym, intentional about who I wanted to be. I started growing my hair out. I decided I wanted to go back to school. I basically had a picture in my mind of exactly the person I wanted to build, and I started doing that. And I'm still doing that to this day. The image I'm going to present, the paperwork I'm going to have, the certifications, I'm trying to be undeniable, and that's what gives me energy. That's what keeps me excited. And when you pick a position and you choose the person you want to be, and you really know that that's who you want to be, everything starts to fall in place. I'll be at work, and there will be lots of distractions happening and people walking around, and loud noises, and I'll be perfectly calm and still in the midst of chaos because I save all my energy for what matters to me. I don't give anyone any extra ounce of energy unless I'm playing the art of war where, I'll have a certain comment or make a little joke to let everybody feel comfortable because a quiet, purpose driven person is very intimidating, or I'll say they stand out in the midst of a lot of drifters. And when you're not a drifter, you've picked who you want to be and you've chosen a side, people can notice that. They start to wonder, like, something's different about that person. So sometimes you got to kind of pretend to be a drifter for a moment just so you can blend in a little bit. And I know a lot of you know what I'm talking about. This will make sense to the people who are not drifters and to the people who read that book, Outwitting the Devil. It's hands down my favorite book I've ever read. I learned so much from that book. A lot of the things the book talked about I already kind of knew, but it told me who I was and it solidified who I decided I want to be. So super appreciative for it. And again, the point of this video is to acknowledge how much men are struggling and to provide some sort of solution for it. The struggle is a part of the game, and you got to get through what you need to do what you want to do. But while you're doing what you need to do, you should still be doing a little bit of what you want to do. And it works better if what you want to do brings you some money. So if you like playing 2K, bro, start a 2K channel, even if it's just 2K highlights, you and your friends. If you like playing pickleball, maybe start setting up some sort of, pickleball pickup games and you guys put that on YouTube and you find cool ways to edit it. I mean, everything is monetizable. I think anything and everything is monetizable. Anything that anybody would want to see, there's a lane for it. That's what I'm in the works of doing. That's what I want to do. I want to do the things I love, but I want to get paid for it. But I accept and submit to the fact that the 9 to 5 gotta stay the 9 to 5. School gotta be school. And I understand that in order to get all that done, you gotta conserve your energy and direct it in a positive way, direct it specifically where you need it to go. You don't need to direct it to the club on a Friday night. Maybe you should stay in and edit videos on that day. You got to do the grind and do the journey and try to enjoy it and set those goals, throw them far, far away. Don't give yourself a year, give yourself 3 years. A lot of people will say to be aggressive with it, but I prefer the non-stressful approach. I have kids and stuff too, so pushing that hard doesn't really make sense for me. Everybody's got to understand their situation. And I'm in the same battle as y'all. No matter how much money I make or how much I get, it's never enough because an accident, car accident stops everything. I mean, I've had 3 cars in the past year. I got into an accident, I got a car, the hurricane took it, and then I got another car. So yeah, I was in 3 cars in the past year. And the one that the hurricane took, who could have saw that coming? But such is life. You got to roll with the punches. So don't feel sorry for yourself. Submit to the fact that you're a man. You got to get it done. Try to be intentional with your energy. Try to direct it in a positive way. Save that stuff. Conserve it. Your energy is everything. No wasted words on wasted people. Keep it productive. Anyway, just a little quick video for you guys. Just wanted to rant and get some stuff off my chest. I didn't want to have a script or any kind of talking points, but I know a lot of men are struggling, and I think a part of the problem is not accepting that the struggle is a part of it.